What is going on, friends? My name is Mark Denney, and today we're talking focus stacking. So you might ask yourself, what is this focus stacking you speak of? Well, the overall concept is, or technique is actually fairly simple. It's when you take a single composition, multiple exposures of the same composition, with each exposure representing a different focal distance, with the ultimate goal being here to merge all of the photos together to create maximum depth of field. Now, I find this technique most beneficial in the world of landscape photography. Most landscape photographers, including myself, are freaks when it comes to sharpness of images. We are constantly trying to figure out ways and different approaches to create sharpness all the way from the front of our images to the very back. Now, this image is a perfect example of the benefits of focus stacking. There is no way you could ever get this image focus from front to back pin sharp in a single exposure. No matter how high of an f-stop value, f16 or f22, there's no way to get the whole entire image sharp. If you focus on the tracks in the foreground, the background's going to be soft. If you focus on the background, the foreground's going to be soft. There's just no way to do it in a single take. Now, there's a couple different ways you can shoot a focus stack series. You can go the autofocus route or the manual focus route. I prefer the latter. I'd rather shoot in manual focus. It gives me a little bit more control over the focal distances I apply to the series. Now, the first thing you want to do is throw your camera into a high f-stop value, whether it's f11, f14, or f16, somewhere in that range. And we're going to begin taking a series of images focusing on the foreground first, and we're going to gradually move to the background. Now, this is the first exposure in my series and the exposure for the foreground. I'm going to zoom in here, and as you can see, everything is perfectly sharp, but the focus does begin to get a little soft right around this region. And this is going to be where you want to begin your second exposure. So I believe my first exposure was 10 meters out. My second exposure would have been probably right around 25 or 30 meters. The third exposure would have been around maybe like 60 or 90 meters and so on, and you're just gradually stepping back until you're shooting somewhere like around 250, 350 meters. It really depends on how grand of a vista you're shooting, but you just want to make sure you shoot at least 4 exposures. You don't want to miss any focal distances. You can shoot as many as you want, just make sure you got at least 4. Now, if you do decide to go the autofocus route, what you would do instead of spinning your manual focus ring to determine exactly how far into your scene you're focusing, you would just set your autofocus point for your foreground. So you would set it right around here, take that image. Your second image in your series, you'd want to set your focus point to say right around this area here. Your third image would be focused right around here. You just kind of keep stepping back your focus point deeper and deeper into your image until you have your entire series captured. Now, once you've had an opportunity to go through all the images in your series and you determine exactly which ones you want to use, you have to you got to post-process them. You got to develop them. So you don't have to develop each individual one. You just develop one of them. I've already actually done all of them here, but I want to show you a quick way to do it. So image 1 is actually the only one that I edited. And what you want to do to sync the same post-processing treatment from image 1 to the entire series, you just highlight all of them, and then you right-click on the image that you actually applied the original editing settings to, and then go down to Develop Settings and Sync Settings, and then hit Synchronize, and this will apply the exact same post-processing treatment across the entire series. Now, once you've done this, we need to open up these images as layers in Photoshop. So just leave the entire series highlighted, right-click, and go down to Edit In, Open as Layers in Photoshop. Now, go back over here to Photoshop, and you'll see that all of the images are already loaded as layers in Photoshop. And what you want to do is you want to highlight the entire series, and then we're going to come up here to Edit, Auto Align Layers. And then you can just hit Auto as for a projection type here. And what this is going to do is it's going to kind of search all the images for any type of subtle variation. Of course, you would only want to ever shoot a focus stack series using a tripod, but there could be some kind of subtle differences. Maybe I bumped the camera, maybe the wind blew the tree or whatnot, but there could be any kind of subtle differences. In this image, it doesn't look like there was any, so that's great. Now, the next thing you want to do is, leaving all the layers highlighted, go back to Edit, and go to Auto Blend Layers, and then you can just leave this as stack images. You only have 2 options. You can either create a panorama, which obviously we're not doing here, or stack images. and then just hit OK. And now Photoshop is actually going into each individual layer, determining what areas are focused and which areas are out of focus. And the areas that are out of focus in each layer, it's creating an individual layer mask, and then it's going to blend everything together. I don't have any idea how Photoshop does it, but it does a pretty amazing job. And what's really cool is that you can actually see the individual layer masks that it creates for each individual layer. And you can actually toggle each one on and off. So as you can see right here, these are the 4 layer masks it created. Let me just kind of turn these off here. So this is the original one, or this is the final merged image right here. So if we turn that off, and you can see this white area, this is going to be the image for the foreground. And you can see that only the foreground is visible. Everything else is masked out because it's not in focus. And then as we step down here, you can see more and more of the image coming into focus. And then this is going to be the final image here, or the final layer here. And then this is the final image on top. And this image is completely sharp from front to back now. So let me just kind of zoom in here. And as you can see, it is sharp all the way through now. And that is exactly how you do photo stacking. So it's actually a pretty simple process, and it's actually a lot of fun too. I remember the first time I learned how to do this, I had a ball just going out in my local area, just trying to find different images or different compositions to photo stack. So once you do it a couple times, it becomes very simple to do. Obviously, you just saw the post-processing workflow to create it, and it is not labor intensive at all. So I hope you found the video informative or entertaining. If you liked the video, give me a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed already, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.
AAA credits are right. Hang up the phone and let your heart break. Only in LA, 24 twice. She's on the phone, but she's staying on.